Here we are in this salubrious surroundings. The brick wall is always beautiful as a
Yeah.
background.
We got some flowers.
Oh yes, we added the flowers for you
Yeah.
for this one. I don't think we have used the flowers before, but not the orange ones. But
Okay.
you were keen to put them in the background. Are
Yeah.
you a big flowers person, or are you?
Not a. I'm a big flowers person, not a fake flowers person. Fake flowers scare me, but these are fake.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Chip Lunch Podcast. My name is Joel, and you will know me well because I'm on this podcast all the time. And I am flying solo as a host today. However, I'm not flying solo on the podcast, which, didn't go too well when I did one like that a few episodes ago.
Oh, I didn't watch that, but I saw the thumbnail.
See, that's what I mean. It's like no one's like,
I was like, what's this?
Who's this idiot?
Maybe
voice,
not those exact words.
but it was close. The voice you can hear if you're just on your podcast app is from Ashley. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley. If you know me, I actually met someone that I'd grown up with church and seen them for ages at a party. It was church people, but came up to me and was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, no, not everyone knows me. That's crazy."
Did they really say who are you though?
Look, pretty much in those words. I mean, maybe slightly deviated, but yeah, it was very much like a "Who are you? I've never seen you before." And I was like, "I've seen you."
Wow, that's a bit
know.
aggressive.
Yeah, so I've come to the realization that not everyone in our church might know me. So.
Oh, is that because your father is chief warden? And you're like, everyone knows me because my dad.
Yeah, the nepotism gets to my head sometimes.
That's great. Thanks for coming on. It's really cool to have you on. You've been to work already. You were telling me.
Yes, this morning.
So how long did you work? When did you start? What time did you start? Because it's only, we're recording this, it's just after 11 in the morning.
Yeah. So I started at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And usually I'll finish at 9 because I'll drop, I do disability support work. So I'll drop my client off at a day program.
Okay.
Around 9:30, and that's my day. And then sometimes, depending on uni, I'll work in the afternoon, do a dinner shift as well. So I'll work from 6 till 10. Yeah, so they're odd hours, but they work with uni really well. So,
okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, but I worked till 10 today and then came here. So.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate it. Here we are in this salubrious surroundings. The brick wall is always beautiful as a background.
We got some flowers.
Oh yes, we added the flowers for you for this one. I don't think we have used the flowers before, but not the orange ones. But you were keen to put them in the background. Are you a big flowers person, or are you?
Not a. I'm a big flowers person, not a fake flowers person. Fake flowers scare me, but these are fake.
They are fake. So are you a bit worried they're creeping over your shoulder?
No, I've dealt with it, but I am a little scared. Tend to be a little scared of fake flowers.
Why are you scared of fake flowers?
I don't know.
Because they're pretending something they're not.
Maybe. I think it's just the plastic. I don't know.
They feel weird.
Yeah, I think when I look at them, I get the feeling sensation from it.
Oh, they are plasticky.
In my hands, I feel the tactile texture of it, and I'm like, oh, just from my eyesight.
Yeah, or you remember the feeling.
Yeah, and that's why even
it's weird when you do.
But I'm not seeing them right now, so they're just behind me.
It's good.
But no one would have known until we told them. So.
Oh. Well,
so they're real.
If they're watching it on YouTube, they would have noticed. I, however, have a PowerPoint in the background. It's very exciting.
Oh, is that a PowerPoint?
Right here, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
What else were you looking at?
I was looking at the posters, and I was like, PowerPoint? And then I was thinking maybe it's a printout of, Word PowerPoint. So I was like, maybe it's a printout, okay. And then
you thought a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, like a PowerPoint presentation. I was like, is that?
This is the PowerPoint I did earlier?
Yeah.
No, there is an actual PowerPoint behind my head.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put something there.
Yeah, more flowers.
Yeah, or your face. So you're in both cameras. So you're interviewing yourself.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. As I said, we always start with one question, which is, how do you like to eat your hot chips?
So very classic, very boring, chicken salt. However, I don't really eat fish and chips. If I'm having chips, I'm usually with a burger. I'm a big burger person. So admittedly, that's my favorite food.
Is it?
Yeah. Everywhere I go, every cafe, every restaurant, I try and look at the menu and I try and deviate and I try and pick something different and I just get the burger every time. I think it's I've got this thing undiagnosed called menu anxiety. So when I look at the menu, I get so stressed. I feel it in my chest and
really?
I don't, my eyes go everywhere. I can't like even I can't even concentrate and relax enough to be able to go through the individual items. My eyes just get like overwhelmed. And so I go to the burgers.
The burger is like the safe
and I get a burger. So then those always comes with chips, or unless it's a good burger. Some places are a bit stingy nowadays, but if it's a good place, they'll give me chips with the burger. So that's usually where I have my chips, and I don't usually have chicken salt.
When you have a burger?
Yeah, if it's like at a restaurant or a cafe, they don't do chicken salt. So if it's like that, then I prefer like a herby, sort of like rosemary, salt.
Yum.
Yeah, Guzman actually does like really good herb ones. It's like sort of Mexican seasoning on them. So those are really good.
Okay.
But if it's just classic fish and chip shop, obviously chicken salt. But then it gets a little bit more complicated depending on the setting.
That's interesting. I remember we were talking to Ethan and he was saying chicken salt is only usually used on like just when you're having hot chips, like you were saying.
Yeah, if that's your meal.
Just a snack or a meal,
Yeah.
Rather than you only get... This is what it, like I'm a plain salt guy, as everyone would know that's been listening.
I feel like I should know that.
That's okay. Well, you told me you watched the first few.
I did. As soon as you said it, I was like, that's right. So I remember being like, like,
cancel this guy.
Yeah, it's a bit boring, you know, but I understand. Do you like sauces?
Yeah, tomato sauce is my...
Yeah, I'm a tomato
go-to.
sauce person personally. My family always bullies me because they're barbecue. And they're like, you only do it because you think it's healthier. And I'm like, no, I don't like barbecue.
I don't... tomato sauce isn't really a choice about being healthy, though.
No,
is it?
I think it might have like a little bit less sugar, but apart from that, like, yeah, there's no tomatoes in there surely, but
yeah, probably not. Depending on what
I just prefer the barbecue's a little bit too sweet for me.
I've never really would prefer, like talking about burgers. I don't mind barbecue on a burger, but I don't like it on chips.
Yeah.
Or like it's a standalone sauce.
Chips, no.
Tomato sauce is much better.
See, I'm a tomato sauce and mustard person for both chips and burgers. Yeah.
Tomato sauce and like American mustard together. That's a good vibe.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Or
which is why they put it on cheeseburgers at McDonald's, for example.
Yeah, I love those. I get a double cheeseburger with a steam bun and Big Mac sauce. People think I'm a little crazy, but that's what I have to order every time. It has to be steam bun.
Is a steam bun? That's like the fillet of fish bun.
No, they just like. I actually don't know what they do, but they just steam it and it gets a little bit bigger and like softer.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes they taste a bit stale sometimes because they just chuck them. So
it kind of toasted usually.
Yeah, it kind of forces them to, like make it a little bit nicer because they have to do an extra step. So, yeah. And then Big Mac sauce is just really good. But I don't eat Big Macs just on my cheeseburger.
Just the sauce?
Yeah. Just add it on top of the mustard and the tomato sauce.
Here's a discussion that I was having with someone last night. Like, so I don't really go to McDonald's.
Neither.
We just said this massive order. Like, I don't go to McDonald's though.
I go to other fast food places, but I don't usually go to McDonald's because it just tastes like McDonald's looks better, and then as soon as you eat it, it tastes like the smell of McDonald's, and then you feel bad afterwards. Yeah. I prefer like an Porto's or something.
Okay, I was going to ask you let's delve into the burger realm.
Yeah.
So where's your favorite burger place? Is it Porto? I'm guessing.
For fast food, a Porto.
Yep.
And then I have my favorite burgers from this little cafe in Miranda. Mm-hmm. And it's mainly because the ingredients. So I used to work at Grilled, so I would pretty much. I went to this restaurant once, had the burger, loved it, and then I would make that burger at Grilled every single time because if you work a certain amount of hours, you get like a free burger.
Okay.
So, and this burger is expensive if you were to buy it. It's like just up because all the additions and the subtractions, it ends up being expensive.
Right. Give us the full ingredient breakdown.
So I will. So you can't do everything at Grilled, what this burger has, but it has some tomato relish on the bottom. Yep. It's got
so bun first and then the relish.
Yeah, we're going bottom to top.
Yeah, yes, do it.
I might have to visual. So
that's okay.
So bun on the bottom, it's got some tomato relish, and then it's got I think it's like a cabbage type slaw mixture.
Yeah, okay.
Then it's got the burger, like the patty, which is like a medium rare. I'm pretty sure it's a Wagyu. It's called an Angus beef burger, by the way. I probably should have prefaced with that.
That's all right.
And it's got some cheddar cheese melted on it.
Sorry, just go back to the beef patty. Is it rather thick or is it thin?
It's a thick one.
Pretty thick.
Yeah. Middle range, I've had thicker.
Yes.
but it's on the thick side.
Okay.
We shall say.
A thick boy.
Yeah, I'm trying to not do the innuendos. Yes. So medium rare, you've got the melted cheddar, and then on the top, I forgot to add the most important thing. It's got pickled onion that's got like a caramelized type. It's like a caramelized / pickled mixture, if you will, because it's got the little bit of like the vinegar taste, but then it's caramelized.
Right.
Yeah. The person that makes this is like, this is not at all what I do, but this is my perception of it when I open it up. And then at the top, it's got some tomato sauce, some mustard, and it's got my favorite ingredient, which is truffle mayo.
Ooh.
So then when you eat it, the truffle mayo kind of like spills out, and then I dip my chips in the truffle mayo.
Wow.
Yes. With a little bit of mustard gets in there. So mustard and truffle mayo is probably my new favorite combination.
There's quite a lot of sauces in there though, isn't it? Because you said like the relish is on the bottom.
Yes.
And then you've got
Yes.
truffle mayo.
Yes.
Tomatoes. Did you say tomato sauce?
I think so. I'm second guessing myself, but I'm pretty sure there is tomato sauce
And
on there.
mustard.
Yeah.
Wow. So you like a saucy burger too?
I do. I mean, I add
saucy
3
thick boy.
sauces to my to my Macca's order. So yeah, I think I just like the sauces, and then you can dip your chips in it.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
getting the chips in, like it adds,
Yeah.
it's the bridge between the chips and
Yeah.
the burger.
Yeah, and it gives them
wow.
a purpose, you know.
Gives the chips or the sauce?
the chips.
You don't think they have a purpose
No.
prior to that?
Well, I'm also someone that when I look at food, my eyes are like 10 times bigger than my stomach, and I'll just persist. Like I'll be verging and vomiting, but like I've still got food left, so I got to eat it. Very bad.
Waste not, want not. Yeah.
Yeah, but so most of the time, like I can just eat a burger and like I don't need the chips. Like I'm full, I'm satiated. There's no reason, but they're there, and like in my mind, and I don't even really like. This is a problem with me. I don't even like soft drink really, but when I
Yes.
go to Macca's, I can't just get the burger. Like I need to get a meal, you know?
Why? Why do you
know.
need to get a meal?
I mean, it's not cheaper, but it just seems like it's always there. They're advertised as a meal. See, it's all marketing, but they're advertised as a meal. Just getting a little burger is
think
just
you
a
want the
bit
sugar.
sad.
Because you've got all the fat.
Probably.
in the burger and stuff, and then I
Probably,
think you
but then
want the
I
sugar to-
usually only have like a couple sips of the drink and I just feel sick, so I just
Oh.
stop. Yeah.
Well, that's very detailed.
Yeah, I'm so
I enjoyed it
sorry.
though. No, don't apologize. I really enjoyed it. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it when people are really interested in something and they know, they like, I know what I want.
Yeah.
And this is why though. Instead of being like,
There's a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the chips, help the chips find their purpose. Well, that's a very detailed answer to how do you like your hot chips. It was good.
Yes.
So I expect the same kind of detailed answer to the next question,
Yes.
which is, how did you become a Christian?
Yeah. So
I should preface this
Yeah.
with, you are the 4th Darvel to come on, isn't it? It's your dad's been on and the boys have been on.
yes. Has Hudson had his own episode, or is
Yeah,
he
Hudson's
just...
been on 3 times.
Oh, I've missed all of them.
So he
I've
had
watched
his-
everyone else's, but his then.
Oh.
That's so bad.
So he was on.
He's my favorite. I love him.
Oh, well,
But I
suck
didn't
in,
watch
Daniel.
any of your episodes. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So he was very early, and then he did one
Okay.
with Tim Beilhartz.
Oh, I've definitely not seen that one. I may have seen the earlier one, possibly not, but I definitely didn't see that one.
And then we did the one about the just finishing the
Yeah,
HSC
I
with
saw-
both of them.
Yeah, I saw the Instagram clip, but I didn't watch the full
I'm not
episode.
watching that crap.
Yeah. Well, they were talking about how much like you shouldn't care about the HSC, and I was like, oh, guys, I'm not watching this. Which valid. There's good reason for and against, obviously, but like, guys, it's like a week before you do it, or like,
It was after.
yeah, and your results gonna come out. With guys,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Well, let's get into that, like, when we talk about your time at the
yes,
HSC.
yeah.
But sorry, let's go back to how did you become a
Yes.
Christian?
So I was thinking in preparing it. So my dad's a big fan. He came on and
He does. He listens to a lot. He's
he
been on.
mentioned it. So we were driving to IKEA yesterday, and he was like, "What's your questions to the big 3 questions?" As at least they're known in my family, the big 3. So I.
Why were you going to IKEA?
Because my mum's a big crafts person.
Yes.
So she loves, like, for Christmas, she makes all these Christmas pillows. She's made all these Christmas decorations, everything. She's a bit bit crazy.
I do.
In the art department.
I do. We need to get her on, by the way.
We do.
I do remember when she knitted all those beanies for Week Away in
Yeah.
the Jesus bead colours.
Yeah,
For example,
She's insane.
Yep.
It's so cool. So we were going to IKEA to get her a single pillow. So long trip, like the petrol cost is ridiculous for one pillow.
Are you spoiling a Christmas present now too?
No.
Oh, this will come out after Christmas anyway.
Oh,
even
it's
if you
good.
do.
I mean,
So-
it is, but she makes a lot of pillows. So it was a single pillow.
Okay.
And so we were driving there and Dad was like, I'm going to IKEA, do you want to come? And I was like, of course, like I'm going to convince him to buy me stuff, which I naturally did. So I was like, of course I'm going to IKEA. So I ended up getting 2 chargers out of it, 2 phone chargers, because mine had broken.
Oh,
So-
they have them at IKEA.
Yeah. I mean, they keep on breaking on me, so I don't know why I keep on getting them, but yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah, right.
So
you
that's
go.
why we're going. And
That's
he
why
was,
you're going.
back on track. Sorry.
No, it's my fault. I asked you the IKEA question.
Yeah. So he was like, what's your answers? And I knew that I had pretty solid answers for the first one, as everyone has just heard, and the last question, which we'll get to. But I kind of stood in my tracks and I was like, I actually haven't really sat down and been like, what's my story? And to coming to Jesus specifically, because I guess it was kind of alluded to, but I grew up in a Christian household.
Yeah.
So my family's been with this church since it happened and came, and most of the people I knew from the previous church that we were at. So I just kind of have lived it. There's never been a single moment in my life that I was like my origin, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And from the podcast that I have listened, I do want to preface, I have listened to some.
How many is this? Is it like 3?
Oh, at least like 6, maybe upwards.
Oh, that's a reasonable amount.
Yeah. But so I've heard heaps of people saying, especially people that have grown up in Christian households, saying that they always kind of not felt jealous, but like was kind of, they saw other people around them that had these crazy stories and kind of felt ashamed, or was like, I don't have a cool story to tell, which I kind of never experienced that. I was listening to the podcast and I was like, oh, I've never really had that, because I guess most of the people that I know, at least my age, have all kind of grown up in a Christian family. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who is around my age that I'm close with that has come from a non-Christian family. So it's never been something that I've been like, oh, they've got a cool story and I don't, which is probably why I've never really thought of what's my story, because it's just never something that many people have asked me about, or it's just like anything that's been emphasized for me personally. So maybe it's, I don't know, maybe that's a testament to my age group, that a lot of people aren't becoming Christian who aren't non-Christian, or at least the people that I know.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
a lot of the people that I know just grew up in a Christian family, and that's kind of what's been their pull to Jesus. So, going on to my story, I think it was something that kind of developed over time. There's never been like a single moment. There've been moments that I can identify that I've kind of fallen away from Jesus, and then I guess you could say coming back to Jesus or redirecting myself back would be things like that. But it's just kind of been sort of a steady thing that's grown over time. And I found that my being more confident in my Christianity, or something that solidified, has just been talking to different people. So I found one of my friends was Christian, but not many of my friends in high school particularly were Christians. So I found most of my time was like people were very open to asking me, and I talked about Jesus a lot during high school, just in random conversations. People had a lot of questions, which a funny question that just came to mind that someone told me that's always stuck out to me was, I had a friend ask me if they've found Jesus's bones, if they've found them.
Right.
And I was like, do you know what happened? Like he rose again, like he's not dead. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So they have not, unfortunately, found his bones because they don't exist. But
I like the way you're saying though, like, do you know what happened though?
yeah, well, I thought like it was, I mean, obviously not everyone knew. I mean, and I think they did kind of know, but they didn't really piece it together. And I'm sure a lot of people I hear like, oh, they found Noah's Ark, or they found this thing, and they found a lot of landmarks, and like this is where Jesus did this and such. And
Or they like find like a tomato and they cut it open
Yeah.
and it looks like Jesus' face. And like, how do you know what Jesus' face look like to make it know what it looks like in a tomato?
Yeah, so they always say that they found things. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming they were just kind of thinking about that. But yeah, that was my favorite question I've ever been asked.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And I was like, no, they haven't. But yeah, I've always, even at like, if I'm at a party and I've met a couple of Christians at a party, people mainly actually meet a lot of people who are Orthodox. So I find I have a lot of conversations even about like the difference between the way that they've been raised in their religion opposed to my experience. So yeah, I've just found having those conversations with people, even people in university, people have been pretty open to talking about it to me. And a lot of people have been kind of just inquisitive because it's very different to what they've grown up. Or I've talked to a lot of people who grew up in sort of like a Catholic household, but a lot of them have just said that they kind of got their confirmation, I think that's what it's called. Oh, communion, sorry.
Yeah, communion.
They've done their communion and that's probably like the extent of it.
Yep.
So, and a lot of people have had sort of experiences, with their family and how, like a lot of negative experiences with Christianity in their family and their parents. So a lot of people just sort of asked me about my experience, and a lot of people thought that my experience was really different, I guess, because I mean our church meets on a Saturday night, so a lot of people like from them there's like a million questions.
They're like, what?
yeah and like the singing music together and stuff, because a lot of Orthodox churches do hymns and stuff like that,
Right.
so I've talked to a lot of people about that. So yeah, I think just talking to people throughout my life, and in that you kind of have to come up with an answer, not an answer per se, but it kind of solidifies in your mind why you believe these things, because you have to answer questions and you a lot of times you want to look up things, you're like, oh, actually I don't know the answer to that, so I need to find that myself. Or I found that that's sort of developed my Christianity over time.
Do you think that, like, it, going on what you're saying there, do you think it actually challenges you?
Yeah, for sure.
That therefore you do your kind of homework and then it solidifies your belief?
Yeah, it really makes me sit down and think about it. And it gives me things to pray for. It gives me things to really, question in my mind, sort of realign. Like, I think it's always good to question it, or to be like, is this really what I believe? Why do I believe it? Sort of realign myself, just so I'm not, I don't think it's ever really good to just kind of do things because everyone else is, or because that's what you're used to. I think that's sort of what's deep in my Christianity, being able to sit down and be like, this is why I believe it. I currently believe it. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, I don't think I know what you're saying. It is quite different, isn't it? And I say almost every episode, this is why we do the podcast, because everyone has different experiences. And it's interesting that you said that some people say that have grown up in that have grown up in a Christian household, they're like, oh, I don't have a special story, I don't have a conversion story.
Yeah.
But I think there's actually something quite special in what, I've, in listening to other people like yourself say that, is that it's actually cool that you grew up from the very beginning in a Christian household. I've thrown that up before as in terms of like, I come from a non-Christian family, but my kids are growing up in a Christian family, like similar to you, going to church every single week and just thinking it's a normal part of their life and enjoying it. And I think there is something really special about that. I feel like, I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's almost being like protecting them a little bit. Like, and of course they can go the other way where they have no idea what the world's like. Like, you need to be careful of that too. Sure. Speaking of those times that you think that they've solidified and stuff, when was there a time, do you think, growing up in whether primary school or high school, that you're like, if you can remember this, oh, I am a Christian, like, there's something different between me and this person or that person? Yeah,
probably around high school, even probably as early as year 7. I think, because I went to a high school in the city. Because I for some reason was like, I'm not going to a school in the Shire, like there's no way. I was like, maybe I'll go to Kirrawee, because my primary school sort of feeded into that, so I'd be with my friends. But I was like, I want to get out of here, like I don't want to be here anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that. Why do you think that was the case? Because that's not usually a thing.
Yeah, no.
Like, I mean, people go to, other schools outside of the Shire.
Yeah.
And a lot of people obviously just go to the local high school. So why did you think even in year 7 you're like, I've got to blow this popsicle stand kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, why do you want to not be there?
I honestly have no idea. Maybe it's just a personality thing. I've always been someone that's had a very close small group of friends. So I've never been someone that's been like really attached to having a big group of people or things like that. So it's never been something where I've been like, I have to really go with my friends into high school. Same with university. No one from my high school goes to my university. I think there's like 2 other people. So I guess I kind of do the same thing again. I don't know. I was just like, I think maybe it's a need to explore new things or stuff like that. And I was really good. So I went to a performing arts high school. Got to get the flex in there. Yeah.
Come on.
My claim to fame.
So it was Newtown? Is that right?
So Newtown. Yep. Yeah. So you have to go through an audition process.
Yep.
So I did that. And a lot of people that go to my high school wanted to do dancing professionally or make like sort of a career out of it or do some sort of performing arts. So especially when I was in the high school, a lot of people were like, oh, do you want to dance when you're older? Like, what do you want to do? And I was always like, no, like, I don't want to do that. There's no way I want to dance. But I loved it. I loved doing it at the time and I loved dancing. So yeah, I don't fully know. I think it was just wanting to go out and explore and do new things because I never wanted to take dancing anywhere. I wanted to study and do other stuff. But I think I was just... Maybe I'm an eldest daughter, so maybe it's an eldest daughter thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what's it like going to Newtown
a high school? Oh, it's insane. It's one of those things because especially in primary school, I remember my parents always telling me that they were debating putting us in a Christian high school, Christian public school or high school or going the public route. And so they did the public route. And then I went to a performing arts high school in the city, which was even a little bit more... there was not many Christians there. I don't believe there was a Christian group. I think on the tail end of high school, I heard that there was maybe, I don't know. I kind of ended up doing even the opposite of going to a Christian high school. Newtown is very much the opposite of that. But yeah, my parents were kind of debating whether they were going to do that. And they decided to go the public school route and then going to Newtown.
Which is still, that's a government public school.
So yeah, anyway, it's a government public school. Yeah. I'm sure it's funded like a government public school.
It gets funding for performing arts.
It probably would, but yeah, so it's half selective, half performing arts. So it's the cohort's kind of split. So it's half local. Yeah. So it's half local and half performing arts.
Okay, but it's selective in terms of like that's why you had the audition.
Yeah,
to get selected.
So that's selective. It's not academically selective, but it does do pretty well because of the performing arts students that are selected tend to like just try really hard in academics and like drive up the ATAR. So yeah, and then I ended up going to that school and was exposed to a lot of things, which personally, I think you were mentioning it before, like going to a Christian school or growing up Christian can kind of either like it depends how you go, can shield children or they can rebel as a result of that. So I kind of felt like going to Newtown was good for me personally because I got exposed to things that were that it was just like it's a
lot of differences.
Yeah.
Is that what you would say?
Oh, yes and no. The main thing that I was thinking about was like a lot of people on the weekends would go to Newtown and party. So you would come and you'd like walk over vomit sometimes to go to school because it was just on the pathway.
Right, I see.
Yeah, we did have a few homeless people come to the school at certain points. So things like that. And I was in dance class one time and we looked out the window and there was a lady who'd camped up because our school can sometimes look like an alleyway because it's got some big heritage buildings.
It does, yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
And she camped out and was injecting heroin. And we looked outside the window and we're like, oh! So yeah, there was things like that were just around school, just in the nature of the area.
Yeah.
And some other things which I'm sure my parents weren't thinking about that happening or me being exposed to at a young age. But I found, just there was a big variety of people and I found that being exposed to that, and I mean, it's at every single school. There was a lot of drugs as well. A lot of people doing some stuff like that. But personally, and I was friends with those people because, They were really nice to talk to, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to hear you out, of course. So I found that personally, that just seeing that stuff allowed me to actively choose to not participate.
Okay.
So I know that that could be different to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like exposure therapy, I'm not advocating for it, but for me personally, I saw that stuff, and I obviously respected those people, but I was like, I decided that that's something that I didn't want to do myself and participate in from being able to expose to that. So I am very thankful for the school, as like crazy and eccentric as it was. Even though I'm not friends with many of the people that go there anymore, just because, it kind of made me the person who I am, and I was able to decide that I didn't want to do that, because I'm sure certain people who I've heard have grown up in Christian households and kind of saw that they were missing that sort of stuff, so they kind of felt like maybe partying and drinking and doing that sort of stuff is something that they're missing out on, so they decide to actively participate, whereas I grew up in an environment where people were, at least in school, because your friends obviously are very influential, that they were choosing to do that, and just seeing that made me decide that I didn't want to do that. So I guess even that maybe helped me in my faith a little bit, just seeing that. And a lot of those people were really great. Like they would always ask me about, ask me why I believe what I believe. And
that's what I was going to ask. What is it like being a Christian in that environment?
Yeah, it was pretty good actually. I know a lot of people have said, maybe a lot of older people have said that they experienced bullying for their Christianity in high school. I never experienced that. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I think that was just in my early years I experienced a little bit of bullying. But yeah, not really. I didn't really, no one really shamed me. I mean, obviously like some sort of backhanded comments or just things like people not understanding or...
Like where Jesus' bones are.
Yeah, like people getting defensive, but nothing that was like directed on me necessarily, just people, I mean, people get very passionate. It's a very passionate topic. So people sort of saying things about like the religion itself, but nothing directed at me or nothing. I was never picked on about it. People mainly just wanted to come up and talk to me about it. And then, maybe in doing that, they said their opinion, but nothing that was, I didn't really experience that. So it was probably... that was good. Like I love talking to people, especially people who aren't Christian, about the beliefs, and that helped me develop myself as a Christian. But I do think I could have benefited from growing up or having a few friends in high school who did have the same beliefs as me. Okay. Yeah, because I didn't really get that. So it's good for both sides. I mean, I had youth group and stuff that gave it. I got that sense from that, but not in high school, and you're with those people 5 days a week, so it's probably like the most influential time of your life, right? At that moment in time. So probably having like one or two friends would have been nice who were Christian and was doing the same, grew up the same way as I did or had the same beliefs, but it was good and bad. Okay. So
what's do you know what would be the difference, and you only went to this as a high school yourself, but what's the difference going to a performing arts school? Like how does does your day look different?
Oh yeah. It really does. So at least when I got to about year 9, maybe year 8 or year 9, we got electives. So I could choose my electives, and there were 3 dance subjects. So I obviously chose the 3 dance subjects. So I was doing, and each subject you've got to do like, I honestly can't remember, but I want to say like 2 to 3 times a week. So I was doing at least 6 classes of dancing during the week inside school, plus I was doing my 25 hours or whatever ridiculous number of hours of dancing outside of school. And then instead of Friday sport, we did Friday ballet. So I did that as well. Yeah. And then I was in the ensembles and companies. So that was an outside of school dancing, and we'll do performances for that. So I did those classes. And then to do that, you had to do an extra Friday ballet. Oh, no, it wasn't Friday. It was on Thursday because it was like a sport day. So it finished earlier. So we had to do like a 2-hour ballet class at school again for that. So it was, mind you, doing all the dance outside of school as well. So I ended up hating dance at one point. Coming up to about year 10 to 11, I like started resenting it. I hated it so much because it was just all I did.
Really?
Yeah, and school dance, or at least Newtown dance, is very different. It's very like technical and very contemporary and like not as fun, but it's really good for technique, and obviously that's what they're training you up for, but it's not as fun as like more commercial dancing.
Right.
Yeah, like we'd have like weird bongo music, and I'd have to yeah, people that go to Newtown know the bongo music. They had some weird music that they would play, and we'd have to wear a leotard, and for contemporary dancing we had to wear these like black tight stockings, so you never got to wear like normal clothes, and we always had to like have buns and everything. So obviously we'd try to rebel and wear like different things and do like, sometimes I'd wear little shorts because I was like, I don't have my tights today, rebelling. But we had to wear some funky stuff.
So dancing, like you're saying, you became a huge part of your life.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for it not to be.
Yeah. I mean, let's delve into that a little bit more though.
Yeah.
So how did you start dancing? And then why did it build up into something like doing it so much?
Okay, so I started dancing when I was 4, I want to say. Actually at the dance studio that's like across the road a little bit.
From here?
Yeah.
Oh.
If the community centre, I don't think they own it anymore. They have a big studio now. But just over there, actually. I started dancing when I was around 4, and I was just doing sort of recreational classes, nothing too serious.
Yeah.
And then, and I was also playing netball at the time. As most young Australian girls do.
Do they? Is it all of them? I mean, netball is a very large sport, isn't it?
At least in the Shire. I don't think anyone from my high school played netball, but everyone from the Shire did.
Okay.
So I was doing that, and then I want to say around like age 7 or something around then, maybe a little bit younger. My mum, they did like competitive classes, or I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically like a competition team. Let's say, for the lack of a better word. So she was like, did you want to do this? Because my mother didn't grow up doing dancing. So she was like, this is such a fun thing. I kind of wish I did that. So did you want to do that? Like, she really gave me an opportunity to do that. And I was like, hell yeah. Like, why would I not do that? Not thinking what I was getting myself into. So I started doing that, and I was competing with like the troops. So you have like troops, and you train every Saturday and some days during the week, and then you end up doing ballet, tap and jazz. So there's these things called exams. I think they're called, that's something like an exam. It's been so long. I haven't danced for 3 years actually. Wow,
that's scarred you that much.
Since high school, since COVID, so that explains it. So you do these things called like ballet, they're basically like ballet exams, tap and jazz, and every single year you have different grades, so you go up in them doing the different grades, and I stopped jazz and tap eventually. I had to stop tap because I couldn't do wings. If anyone knows what wings are, they're with tap shoes. So your feet like this is a demonstration, and you flick your ankles. So this is my ankle. You flick your ankle like this, and then you tap back in.
So the tap noise is like sideways almost.
But you kind of have to like jump to do it. So you start off on the bar and put your weight, because like if you see it like that. So this is my feet.
So you see flicking it across the floor.
Yeah, you flick, but you do both of your legs at the same time. So you kind of have to like jump. And my abductors just got ruined. I would like strain them every time I couldn't do it. So I stopped tap then.
Wow.
And stopped jazz, and I continued with ballet up until the very end. So I did my point shoes and everything. Very expensive. I wouldn't recommend putting your daughters in ballet. At least back in my day 3 years ago, I'm sure they've gone up in price now.
Probably.
But they were like over $100 for a pair, and you would break through them every couple of months. And like professional dancers go through them every day. They break through. So they essentially got this like cardboard type material. It's like paper mache, and you have to like break them in with your feet. So as you get stronger, you have to have stronger shoes that have a thicker sole.
Yeah.
And over time your feet get really strong, and you just break through them, and once they're broken through, you don't have any support, so you can injure yourself if you're on top of your toes. So you have to repurchasing these shoes. It's like a awful subscription. So it gets so expensive. So I was doing that, and then by the time I want to say around like 12, possibly younger, there's this thing called solos. So my mum was like, did you want to do solos? And I think my dance teacher was probably like, came up to my mum, was like, oh, your daughter's pretty good, like I can make some money off her, do you want to do solos? And my mum was like, take my money. So I started doing solos, And then I started competing for that. So then I ended up around 12. Oh, I would have been, so I've done solos longer than 12 because I would have started high school around that time, 13. I think you start high school.
Yeah, 12.
So
12
yeah,
13,
I must have been doing it a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah.
And then
The solos, you're just doing the performance on your own.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. You do it before you, just on your own, and you tend to do like a lyrical, jazz, contemporary piece. So you have like a big three.
Do you want to break down these terms though?
Yes,
Because people don't know.
So sorry.
No, you don't need to
So
apologise.
jazz is
Not the music jazz,
no,
is it?
no, definitely not. No, it's more like
Just imagine doing a dance to that. That would be tap. Probably.
yeah. So if you think of like music wise, because a lot of people listen to music, it's more like pop music. So you're kind of dancing to pop music. You're doing like sharper movements, stuff like that. If you want to think of like backup dancers, so like let's say Beyonce's backup dancers,
Right.
that's more of like a jazz that they're doing. Probably like a more like commercial urban, let's say, hip hoppy type jazz.
I love this. I love all these terms.
But yeah, it's that's more of a jazz. So more like pop music. You're thinking.
Taylor Swift's backups. Like
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah,
They'd
yeah,
be
stuff
kinda
like that. Like I've done so many dances, like Prince, like Girls Run the World or whatever that one is. I've done a dance
That's
to that.
Beyonce, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Beyonce, stuff like that. So and it scars you because every time like an old song comes on, you've like I've done a dance to that.
Do you remember the steps and stuff?
Yeah, I remember the steps,
you're
and
like,
it just plagues me. And now I've kind of grown out of it. But when I was younger, you'd start doing the dance, and like in public, like don't do that. Like that's very obnoxious. But I would start doing the dance, and every single time, I think even now, like a song will come on, and I'll be like, I've done a dance to that, and like no one cares, but I do. Like I did a dance.
But
to
like
that.
because you so much is linked to the music and dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
that it's obviously like this thing that it's like the memory and the kind of even the
the steps are like second nature.
Yeah, exactly, because you link it to the music.
Yeah,
right?
funny story about that. At one point in my life when I was younger, they thought I was having silent seizures.
Oh.
Yeah, so it happens in younger children. I was around, I want to say year 9, around that age, so that's like 14. So they thought I was having silent seizures where you basically, you can't really tell, but the person sort of blanks out. And I was doing that a lot, so that's what they thought I had. But I ended up getting a brain test, and I was doing that a lot while I was dancing. So I was able to do like the whole dance, but I couldn't really remember it. I was just zoned out, like I wasn't really there. So then I got a brain test, the scan, and they put in a bunch of lights to try and induce a seizure. And it turned out I didn't have silent seizures, but I was severely iron deficient. So I was just so tired and zoning out. But they cracked it because I was like, oh yeah, like I do it when I'm dancing, and they're like, well, no, because if you do it, you stop.
Be dancing, yeah.
Yeah, you like stop in your tracks. Yeah, so that's how we figured out that I didn't have it. I was just very good at zoning out and still doing my dancing. So,
which is, in one way, it's kind of good.
Yeah, it was cool. I was like, I don't have to go on seizure medication. That's great. I just needed iron infusions, a lot of them.
They're good. You feel good after those,
you
right?
You feel so good.
Because my wife has iron deficiencies. Maybe not as bad as yours or whatever, but she's had a couple of iron infusions, and she's like,
they're great.
I feel amazing.
Yeah. Oh, you go from like at least I got a recent blood test, so mine's about 12. Yeah, 12. Can't remember the unit, but it's about 12. It's supposed to be around 50, and when you get it, I think you're up in like 200, maybe even.
Nice.
Yeah, you're good. And I haven't had an iron infusion. Sorry,
I said diffusion. It's my fault.
Infusion since I think around before the HSC, because they were like, we're gonna have to stock you up because you're gonna be smashed. And I haven't had it since then, and I'm back down to that. So it slowly depletes over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they last. At least
good.
mine did, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But you slowly go down.
Wow.
Yeah, so good. But yeah, that's how I found out.
Dancing.
Was dancing, yeah.
So let's go back to the terms though.
Yes,
contemporary.
the terms.
What's the difference between jazz? I reckon the one I struggle with is the difference between jazz and contemporary.
Oh, they're very different. I would have thought it's lyrical and contemporary, which is more.
See, I don't know what lyrical is.
Yeah, okay. That a lot of people don't actually.
Yeah.
Contemporary is kind of like, for example, a lot of my dances. I did an army contemporary dance, so I was dressed up as a little army person, and there's more like abstract movement. So at high school we did a lot of contemporary, so it was like contemporary jazz. I think we had like a theatre type. It was just jazz, but something like that. And then ballet was like the main things that we did. So contemporary is more like abstract movements. You've
What kind of songs? You maybe can identify what songs.
So the songs are like a lot more instrumental songs.
Okay.
Mainly instrumental songs, a lot more weird.
Or
sort
like
of
one,
stuff.
there's like one person singing. It's not like music. It's just like instrumental and some woman singing sometimes.
Yeah,
Is that
kind of. I don't think I actually have done a contemporary dance with anyone singing. Maybe someone saying words. Dancing they go through phases. So when I was younger, there was a phase where they would have like an emotional speech. A lot of them were like TED Talks or something while the person was dancing and there was instrumental in the background.
Oh.
So that would be a contemporary. And
it'd be like about women empowerment or something like that.
I think so. Bullying was a big one. They loved doing the bullying dances,
okay,
very emotional. And you'll just wear like a button-down t-shirt and little like shorts and a crop top underneath, and that was just it was
it's
everyone
just like
was
you
doing
stripped
it.
back kind of thing.
Yeah. I didn't fall into the trap, I'm happy to say. But
which trap though? What was the trap?
The TED Talk on top of instrumental.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, that one. And then lyrical, you want to think of like, let's say like an Adele song or like songs like that, like emotional, softer movements, a lot of like that's more closer to ballet. It's a little bit more ballet. Contemporary is also closer to ballet, but it's a little bit more ballet, softer movements is the lyrical.
It's very confusing.
And they tend to be emotional. So yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it when you pair it with the music. It makes it easier to understand.
So think like more of an Adele. A lot of people did the I'm awful with names, but the Under the River song, Under the Bridge was a big one.
Yeah.
Back in the day that people were doing.
Which one's that one? What is she saying that? Is that?
Can't even remember.
We'll look it up.
Yeah.
Keep going though.
Water. It's something about like water under the bridge, or there's a bridge. Adele, I'm so sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, Adele will be listening to this. So.
Yeah, she does. She will. So yeah, that's the breakdown of the.
I like it though. Hang on.
And then ballet. Everyone knows ballet, surely. It's like leotards, tutus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it what is it? Under the Bridge is a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
Oh.
I'm trying to find.
If you put Adele, surely it will come up.
Well, I'll do Adele Bridge.
Yeah, maybe.
Water Under the Bridge.
See, did I not get it? Maybe I did.
That one.
Yeah.
That
and then
makes
think of
sense.
someone like just running around the stage. Yeah. Honestly, that's exactly it. That was what I was looking like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can see it. The vision. Yeah.
Oh, I need to find the lyrics on Spotify.
Yeah, if you swipe up, they do it. So
Why
handy.
do I hate the idea of being free?
Good lyrical though. Emotional song.
And emotional lyrics.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
it's
why.
great. So yeah, with the development of my dancing career,
What's your just before you say that? What's your favorite?
Oh yeah, of course. So lyrical is my favorite, and then I'll do contemporary, but for a troupe, a jazz.
Oh, together as a jazz.
Yeah. So with the dance group, I would love a jazz, but for my own, I didn't have the stamina for a jazz. I'm not gonna lie. For a solo, I would be like puffing,
that would be
convulsing.
Tiring.
Yeah. But I loved the lyrical, and then contemporary was second. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, back to your dancing.
Yeah. So I did solos all throughout high school, and then I ended up doing a lot of competitions, which they were a lot of interstate ones. So I did a lot of, Newcastle's an interstate, but I did a lot of Newcastle, Canberra. The like regionals, the big ones at the end of the year were in Gold Coast. So I went to the Gold Coast a couple times. Where else have I been? A lot of places. So me and my mum would drive up, stay in a hotel, and then do the dance, and then come back. So we like bonded a lot during that time. Nice. Yeah.
I'm just about to cough. Hang on. Cut this out. I've got like a tickle in my throat.
Yeah, the same. I had like phlegm in there.
Have you ever had that thing? Oh, I won't put this on the podcast. Have you had that thing when like you get like phlegm on your like vocal cords?
Oh yeah.
And you can't talk?
Yeah, I've got a deviated septum, so it's...
All that cocaine use.
Yeah.
And you sorry.
No, I was like... no, yeah, I found out like a month ago. No. Oh yeah, probably close to a month ago, yeah.
Sorry. I don't know why I've got this cough.
It's awful.
It's still there. It feels like it.
Do you need water?
Yeah, maybe I can.
Like gargle. I don't know how you get rid of coughs. Yeah. Yeah, it's like in my Big Fat Greek Wedding where he always has the is it Ajax? You haven't seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding? Oh, it's so good.
I haven't seen many movies, to be perfectly honest.
Really?
Sorry,
Oh, no, that's fine. No, I love a good movie. Although I like a little bit more pretentious movies, admittedly.
More what, sorry?
Like,
Pretentious?
yeah, pretentious older movies, you know, like
Oh.
I will look at the score on Rotten Tomatoes of a movie before I watch it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And if it's like, at least has to be above a 7, depending on the genre. Like if it's a romance, I don't really like romance, but I'll be like, oh
That's
yeah, like fair
surprising.
enough. But yeah, no, I hate it. I love reading books and I hate romance books. I can't do it. Yeah, I've read one recently, which is like okay, but I can't read multiple. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like romance at all.
Yeah, I can't do it. I don't know. It makes
That's
me
surprising.
icky.
Not to sound too sexist. Not
Oh, no,
surprising for a
that's
girl.
okay.
Not like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. I'm trying. But I
You don't
don't.
have to like it.
But no, but they just seem fun. But yeah, I don't know. I just get so annoyed. I'm like, why are you doing that? And they usually dumb down the woman a lot of times. Like especially in those movies, like why are you doing that? Like surely you're not taking him back. Like he sucks, you know. So
Yeah, that's totally
yeah,
true.
I don't think I end up not. You're supposed to like the guy, and I never end up liking the guy. I'm like, he sucks.
He's a loser. But then the story is always like, we're breaking up. He's like, I can't.
Yeah, and if you
And
break
he's
up,
like,
why are you getting back
I
together?
need her back, and then you've got to go to the airport before she leaves. Like,
Yeah, like no, have a wine and watch a movie. Like
have a
why are we chasing after him? Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah.
Okay, so you run to
Yeah.
go back. Sorry. I hope I don't keep coughing. It's very annoying. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
So dancing's such a big part of your life,
Yeah.
and then you said in year 9 and year 10 that you started hating it.
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, so I ended up dropping one of my dance subjects because I hated it so much,
Wow.
and I stopped doing the the companies and ensembles for school, and I stopped doing ballet for sport. So I went to the regular sport, and what else did I do? I think, oh yeah. So then because I wasn't doing that, I didn't have to do that extra ballet class on the Thursday, and I think it was just because it was all I was doing. Like I absolutely hated it.
It wasn't like you. Do you think you like kind of burnt out to a degree?
Probably. Probably. And I didn't really have any friends that were dancing because I had like a hard time with them in year 7. So I ended up being friends with all the local people. So I didn't have any friends in my dance classes.
Oh, local people from Newtown. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
so the local people from Newtown. So yeah, I didn't end up having any friends in my classes, and they weren't like the people I did know because we had to catch the train in together because we all lived from the Shire. There was like 5 of us.
Yep. Or did you catch it to Redfern and then?
No, I just caught it with them. Yeah. But I think I didn't catch it with them on the way back. I think I caught a different train.
Oh, I meant like when you catch the
yeah,
train
sorry.
in. Do you catch it to Redfern?
Oh, yeah.
And change
Yeah.
and then go back out to Newtown?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Or Central. I think we went Redfern to get in and Central to come back.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so and they were at my dance studio, and I think around the similar time I ended up moving dance studios because this new dance studio opened up, and my mum was like, did you want to move there? Because the girl was like kind of known around the area because she was on like a dance TV show, and I was like, I mean, why not? I got nothing to lose.
So you think you can dance or something?
Yeah, she was on So You Think You Can Dance. Yeah, the owner. So
Oh.
she started a new dance studio, and mum was like, did you want to move? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't really care. I'll do that. So yeah, I think around the same time I started cut back, or if not a year after that, I started cut back on dancing because I just got
Need a
so
bit more
burnt out
balance? Is
about
that?
it. I think so. Yeah.
And you also said that you like, I don't want to make dance a career.
Yeah, I didn't want to make dance a career, so
So
yeah,
you just
and-
like
yeah.
doing so much. You're like, what is this getting me to?
Yeah, I would
maybe.
rather do a different subject. So
Yeah, right.
yeah.
But you still kept dancing, but just to a lesser extent.
Just in school, outside of school, I was still doing the same stuff.
Right,
Yeah, I
right,
was still
okay.
doing solo, still traveling everywhere. I traveled up until the HSC. My last dance competition for solos at least was in Queensland.
I'm
So,
guessing
yeah.
that was on the weekends.
Yeah.
Did that affect going to church? and stuff
Yeah,
like-
so they were always on Saturday.
Right.
So I
And we started the church on Saturday.
and we started church on Saturday, which Sunday would have been perfect for me, but the Saturday ruined that for me personally. It was great for everyone else, but I suffered. So I think that really affected at least the friendships that I was able to make, So that happened from an early age when I was younger. So I don't think I was really around as much, or I would like jump in, like pop in. I would always come in like, I honestly, sometimes I'd have like full makeup, looking scary.
I actually remember.
Yeah, I would always have like dance outfits, because if I wasn't doing a competition, I would always had dancing in the morning on a Saturday that would go for pretty long. It was like pretty much a full day. So I'd come straight from that. So everyone just knew me as like the girl in like tights and a top, like in activewear the whole time, like for so many years. I'm pretty sure I had someone come up to me being like, wow, you're wearing normal clothes. And I was like, that's so embarrassing. I didn't realize how bad it was.
Right.
So yeah, I wasn't able to like make as many friends when I was younger. And even the friends I did end up making when I was older and I ended up coming to church more, were like, oh yeah, I like barely knew you because we grew up together, but they barely knew me because I was always at dance competitions. So
What impact do you think that had on your faith?
I think, probably similar that happens to me now in the sense of like work and stuff. Like sometimes it's very easy you get so worked up in this, or like even uni studies, like that becomes such a priority that God sort of slips, or faith in general sort of slips through the cracks, and like prioritizing community does become second, unfortunately, because you've got this big thing you've got to work up towards, or at least seemingly, it's a choice at the end of the day. But that sort of becomes a priority without you realizing. We talk a lot of times about how like money and all these things can be put above God, but even like careers and dancing can kind of happen. So obviously I was young and I didn't really realize it, but it definitely was very easy to that be a priority. And even I sort of missed the community aspect of talking to people that grew up the same way as me and had the same values, who were going to church every single weekend. Like I didn't always have the opportunity to express my faith with them or talk to them about their lives, because I was off doing my own thing. I think probably isolation was the biggest thing from it, because I tend to do that as a person anyway.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, well, even in church when I wasn't going, when I was going to church, a lot more as I got older, I still tend to like stick with same one or two people, and didn't really talk to many people. So I was kind of just doing my own thing. So I think I inherently kind of revert back to that, which I'm, as I get older, trying to actively, and I've gotten a lot better. I talk to a lot more people now, especially in the church community, but I think that probably made it easier for me to do that when I was younger, and even growing up in my high school years, because I was just so used to just going off and doing my own thing. Yeah, so probably it impacted the community aspect and connecting with those people the most. And obviously I wasn't getting the faith and listening to the talks, and I wasn't able probably to develop my faith a lot during that time.
Right.
Yeah, but I was still going to youth groups on a Friday, and my family did this thing actually, especially in primary school, because that's when my dad would drive us to school, because high school was the train.
Yeah.
So my dad would always get us to pray on the way to the car. Pray on the way to primary school in the car. So both of my parents work full time, especially back in the day. So they would always drive us to before and after school care. As soon as it opened, we were the first ones there every single day. So we would always pray in the car together as a family and go around one by one. And that's why I know the Lord's Prayer by heart, because I just did it so many times.
Yeah.
And once I learned it, I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. So when it came to my turn, I was like, I'm doing the Lord's Prayer. Like my prayer's written in the Bible. Like it's so solid. Like no one can pray better than this. This is the Lord's Prayer.
Jesus said this is how we should pray.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know off by heart to this day because of our little car trip. So that sort of was something, it was always in my life, thankfully, because of my parents.
Yeah.
So that growing up in a Christian household definitely helped with that, especially because of what I was choosing to do with my time at that point in time of my life. But definitely I could have developed and come closer to God if I did get that weekly sermon and the community aspect of it.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it should be. Do you regret that a little bit?
I haven't really thought about it. I think the thing that I more regret is when I've been older and not participating as much in things. I think my participation I've regretted more than the dancing.
Okay.
Because even when I was like dancing lesson coming to Saturdays more frequently, I still wasn't. I think for me that seems like a more active choice because I was surrounded in the community and I wasn't talking to people and I wasn't, going around. And even, I mean, I was still probably dancing at that point, but I didn't go on a lot of the camps when I was younger. Don't I don't think I really went on a Christian camp until I went to LIT. So I think the more things where I was like actively deciding not to participate or like whether it was conscious or unconscious is more what I regret. But again, that probably was easy to do from the dancing, missing all the Saturdays.
Yeah. So there's like, this partly like you're thinking about, I just want to isolate myself, but that was also because you were doing so many different things.
Yeah, possibly.
Outside of that, you're like, I'm just not sure how to make those two fit together.
Yeah, I don't think it was like an active decision to isolate myself. I just tend to be really close with one person, and then I'm like, no one can talk to us. Like this is our time to catch up because I mean we'd only see each other then. So it was like I very much saw it as our time, and I was like, I'm with my best friend. Like, go away. Why are you trying to talk to me? You know.
Yeah,
well, I'm obviously making it more dramatic than what it was, but I think I was just seeing it as like I'm at church with my family, and this is my best friend, and I get to see her every week, and this is what.
That's the only time you get to see.
Yeah,
certain people.
Yeah, when we grew older, like we saw each other more, but definitely when I was younger, it was like this is our time. I don't want to spend the time that we have together like talking to other people because. Yeah.
But as you also said at school, there wasn't many, you weren't hanging out with many Christians there.
Well,
so then
true.
you saw that as an opportunity to hang out.
I think so, yeah. Which in hindsight, I could have like broadened that and been able to share that with a lot more people. But, you know, when you're young, you want what you want and it's your way or the highway. But I definitely probably would have benefited so much from that. I would have benefited from the camps. I think, I would have benefited from talking to a lot more people and hearing their experience.
And new friendships, it's like at churches, you can get have really deep friendships, but that comes from time as well. Yeah. So as you're in and out and doing your dance stuff.
Well, you get out what you put in. So.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, it's a good point. Can I ask you? So how did you? If you step back from dancing a little bit, did you still have to do dancing as part of your HSC and finishing school?
Yeah. So that was a good thing. I ended up liking dancing again in year 11 and 12 because I only had one subject of dance. So that was my HSC subject. So I had no electives. I didn't have to do like 3 classes. I wasn't doing the outside stuff. We didn't have the ballet sport anymore. We just had our, I think 5 or 6 subjects. So that was just one of them. So I ended up loving it again.
Okay, great.
Yeah, through that, which was really good. I think, I just had to cut back on the school stuff and then prioritize the stuff that I enjoyed because I enjoyed the outside of school stuff. But doing dance as a subject is not as fun as it might sound because we also had to write journals.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, what else does that entail?
So how it gets assessed is kind of helpful because I currently do a health degree. So we had to learn about all of our different muscles and stuff and how they work to create movements. Yep. So I'd have to do these things, and especially in the first 2 years, called dance journals. So I'd have to write a couple of pages per class. Mind you, there's 2 classes per week. About what happened in the class and talk about like my movements, what muscles I used, how I activated them to achieve different movements, and then like training and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you had a lot of assessments like that. So you would have to talk about a dance that you were doing and then talk about the different shapes that you do in that dance that your teachers choreographed, and then talk about how you achieve those movements and if you had any struggles and how you like trained to do that. And then when it moved to the HSC, we had to choreograph our own dance. So we had to do essays about our dance and we had to write...
Oh, it's like the written part of the exam.
Yeah. So we did have a written part. So that was a little bit more different and complex as well. But for the dance part, we had 2 dances. So one that I choreographed myself and then one that the teacher choreographed for the class. And we had to write, at least for the one that we choreographed ourselves, there's like a thing called a motif and you've got to manipulate it. It's the most painful thing when you're choreographing. So you've got to choose like one movement that represents the emotion or like the thesis. It's kind of like a thesis of the dance, and then you manipulate that. So every single move has to like derive from this one move, and you have to like use levels and use all these different things to manipulate it. But every single like no movement cannot be derived from that, which gets so painful when you're doing like 3 minutes. Like you run out of ideas eventually.
Yeah.
So you had to write about that. And then we had a subject where we basically like critically appraised dance pieces. So we had to watch videos and then like break them down. And we had to write essays on that, which was so much fun.
Oh, really? You really liked it?
No.
Oh, are you being sarcastic?
No, yeah, sorry. I didn't mind it. A lot of the dancers hated it. So the thing that differentiated us is our written. So I didn't do too bad in the written comparatively, but a lot of the girls absolutely hated the written and bombed it. So that like made them scale lower.
What, with your dance, when you choreographed it, what song did you do?
It was some sort of instrumental thing, and I married 2 songs and edited it myself, but I actually really couldn't tell you, like I don't know the name.
Okay.
But I do remember what it was about. It was about having
what's the motif?
Yes, I'll show you. So it was about having a
Well, you're going to do the dance.
Well, just I can do it in the chair because the motif's got to be really small. So it's only like one single movement.
Really?
Yeah. So it was called having a weight on your shoulder or something like that. It was about a weight on your shoulder. So my motif was this. Oh. That's it, yeah. And you're going to do a whole dance off of that.
Can you describe that for the listeners? It was, what did you put your hand on your shoulder and look the other way?
Oh, no, it would be like 3 sentences. So like I'm standing in parallel, facing the front. Where am I in the room? And then I'll say like pulling my arm up in tension in front of my body. I'm so bad at this now. And then my hand on shoulder, maybe like describe the angle. So like making a sharp angle with my elbow, and then folding my chest to my knee with tension and like change. And then you describe the changing of the level, something like that. Yeah, ridiculous.
What's the level though?
Like mid-level maybe. I'm just making it up, something like that. I mean, I would just make it up the whole time. And there was a few things that you'll just repeat that you'd like heard people say, or they would kind of like describe.
And they're like,
But yeah, yes. It was like the most arty-farty thing. Love it. But yeah. You would just make up stuff and it would be like pages of it. Yeah.
Really? Oh, that would annoy me so much.
Why do you think I hated it?
Yeah, right. It's like people like you know how they like, you're in a museum looking at painting, like, yes, I see what they were trying to do.
Well, funny enough, I'm trying to get into that. I'm trying to get into art and learn about art, but because I dropped visual arts year 8.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know much. The main stuff I know about art, because I studied modern history in high school, loved modern history, was considering doing like philosophy or something in university, and then decided not to because I also have dyslexia. But I love reading. But I really struggle with essay writing. So I always did, because we had to do like NAPLAN tests and stuff to be able to do the HSC. So I always did really well in like the reading and comprehension and everything, but the writing was awful. So yeah, the essay writing, I thought for my own sanity, I should probably choose something that doesn't have as much essay writing.
How does, sounds fair enough. How does the dyslexia manifest itself? Like what does it look like? What does it mean? What does it look like?
So it's very different in heaps of people. So for me at least, some people have like the words moving on the page. I don't have that. For me, at least everyone does this thing where they, for a word, your brain kind of registers the first and last bits of the word and kind of fills it in.
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
I just fill it in incorrectly, essentially. So
really? I remember because someone showed me, I think it was at uni, and they showed like the first part of the word and the end of the last part of the word, and you could work out what part of the word, what the word was.
Yeah.
But you're saying that your brain can't fill in that bit in the middle.
Sometimes it can. So when I got diagnosed, or when I found out, it was around, I want to say around year 9 or 10, sort of before the HSC, because I was able to then get provisions. But when I got diagnosed, I decided I'm going to read because screw this. I'm going to do the HSC. I need to get better at reading.
You'll need to read.
Yeah, this is the one thing like holding me down. So I got into reading and I do it to this day. I absolutely love it. I've got this is a thing, buying books and reading, 2 different hobbies. So I have a massive bookshelf with heaps of books.
But I have the same problem.
Yeah, don't think I'll read them all in my lifetime.
Oh yeah. Is it fiction or non-fiction?
Okay. So I started reading non-fiction.
Yep.
well, a little bit of both, but predominantly non-fiction because I do a health degree, so I was interested in like the biology and health sort of stuff. And then I got into self-help for a little bit. I can't stand it. Sorry for the people that love self-help. I couldn't do it. And then I ended up doing fiction, and I absolutely love fiction because, at least for me, personally, I feel like you can learn more from fiction because you're just kind of, it's like character studies, like you're looking at people, seeing how they interact, and I feel like I learn a lot more from, I mean, it depends on the topic. I mean, most self-help books I feel like can be condensed to like a tweet, or like they can be like there's a summary that gives you the same sort of gist.
Yeah.
But I feel like I learn a lot more from fiction, and I love fiction. Yeah.
Well, what would you say your favourite fiction book is? Have you got one that you could just immediately say is my favourite? I
do. I've got a few. So the book that I'm reading at the moment is called Lola in the Mirror. So it's by Trent Dalton. So it's his new one. But my favourite book is Boy Swallows Universe.
I've heard of that.
Yeah,
I haven't read it.
I talked to Ethan about it. I think he read it and loved it.
I think so.
I absolutely love it. My boyfriend went on a cruise and I gave it to him, and he doesn't read. So I was like, "You're reading this? You've got no internet. I'm forcing you." So he got to like a page 108 or 80 or something. So he did pretty well. But yeah, absolutely love that book. I studied Russia for modern history, so I love a lot of Russian literature. Yeah, I know.
I know what you're going to say. Say it.
What do you think?
It's, what's the one with the Russian soldier, and it's really long.
Oh. I thought you were going to say Crime and Punishment.
Oh, no.
I've read that one, but not that one. Are you thinking like Dr. something or other? Anyway, it's neither of those. It's The Master and Margarita.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you think of Russian literature, not many people do name that one, but it is a classic. So it's got a good story behind it. So it was initially written during the Soviet Union, and then the author burnt the manuscripts, and a character in the book is writing a book and he burns his manuscripts, and then he rewrote it, and he was targeted by Stalin and stuff, and it ended up being like a banned book.
Yep.
And they like smuggled it out and translated it during the Soviet Union. But the premise of it is there's like a master and there's a Margarita, so that there's like a little bit of a love story going there. But basically the devil comes to town, I don't want to say, it's not reincarnated, but kind of like that as like a musician.
Oh.
So it's very camp. It's a very camp book. And he sort of goes around and like makes mischief in the Soviet Union. So it's set in that time. And like the first sort of dialogue, every couple of chapters, it's intertwined with the crucifixion of Jesus, and like they're talking about this, and the devil's there, and there's a lot of like Pontius Pilate in it, and it's really cool. So yeah, because he's talking about because he was obviously there. So it's very camp.
I was saying that the devil was there.
Yeah, so that it like intertwines between the two stories, and he he puts on this show and like makes mayhem, and he does all this stuff. It's a really cool book. I highly recommend. I'm pretty sure I've convinced someone to read it at church, I think, or it was another book, but I've definitely convinced some people at church to read some books of mine.
Master and Margarita?
Yeah, The Master and Margarita.
Okay, what's a margarita? Isn't that a drink?
Yes. It's
yes,
like,
it is.
She's like the woman protagonist. I'm sure it means something, but I actually can't remember.
Okay,
I did read the book at least like 4 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, but I did get, do you know the Folio Society? Really expensive, hard, like cloth bound books. I did purchase that book. That's the only book I have for them. It was like over $100, and I think the shipping was like even more. I got it for like Christmas or my birthday one year. I asked for it. And they get illustrators to draw pictures in it. And yeah, that's the only one I have from that. There's a
special book for you.
I love that book. Yeah. It's so good.
I think you told me before we started recording, like just going back to doing the HSC, you did all the dance choreography. Sorry.
Yes.
But it was during COVID lockdown. Is that right?
Yes.
The 2021 COVID lockdown?
2020. So COVID started at sort of like, I think technically 2019 at the end of the year, but it didn't really become a thing until like January. I think we went to the first lockdown in March maybe.
Yeah, at the end of March.
Yeah.
At the end of March 2020 is when we went to lockdown, yeah.
So I remember being at school possibly at the start of March and like seeing all the numbers spike up and being like, are we going to be in lockdown? Are we not? It was like, big thing. Mm. So, it was during that time.
What's it like finishing school during COVID? Because I remember we had Aurelia on
Yeah. She was the year after. So she was
yeah.
2021, yeah.
Yeah, so she had some really great insights into it. What would you say it was like trying to finish school at home and doing heaps of stuff over Zoom and all that?
It was awful. So she was 2021. So, and I think their lockdown was during their...
It was later in the year, I think.
it was later in the year during their trials. So a lot of people got mailed the trial practice paper. So we got to do our trials in person, but we had the disadvantage. So that was a massive disadvantage to them. But we had the disadvantage of teachers being dinosaurs and not being able to work Zoom because it was first introduced then. So we were kind of like the test dummies of trying to figure out that. And a lot of our teachers couldn't figure out how to post all the work on Google Classroom and all the Moodles or whatever we had. And it was awful. And because it was very much also peak anxiety for everyone because no one really knew it was happening. I think politically, or at least the opinions of COVID were very differing at the time. So it was very dramatic on both sides. A lot of people were angry and you were at home. I think the Black Lives Matter happened because I remember being in my room and seeing all that stuff. And honestly, it felt like it was so much intensity, and it was just, there was so much anxiety just around COVID, around heaps of stuff. So
HSC.
HSC, it was pretty crazy and very demotivating. And I think added to an extra sort of burnout towards the end of the year, when it came time to finally do the HSC, I was so over it. And most people do by that time, you've been studying so hard, but it sucked in summary.
In comparison to what at least your brother Daniel said on the podcast.
What did he say again?
Well, you said that you saw the clip of him and you're like, oh, come on, guys. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Does that mean that you're why did you have that reaction?
Well, I'm very much a person that's let's get 98, 99. I very much like to do things. Full blast. I did not get that, by the way. I ended up doing the opposite. I kind of had the thing where you get so anxious and you get so put so much pressure on yourself that you end up procrastinating to escape that feeling.
That was me.
Yeah,
I did that too.
I'm still dealing with it. And I think at least the way that they approach it just frustrates me because it's at least have the intentionality behind it. I understand the stress and not wanting to do it and procrastinating because I experience it myself, but I'm just have some intentionality on wanting to do well. That's something that I struggle to understand them with in some things. But my experience in high school was kind of like that. I equally as them, which I was not rewrite my wrongs, but I didn't do as well in which I got into my degree, so who really cares? Unless you're trying to get into medicine, don't try and get a 99 because there's really no point. You can get more sleep at night and you can see your friends and you can do better things and have a more balanced lifestyle. Don't pressure yourself to do that. But I sort of did the thing where I was stressed and really wanted to do really well, but then in doing that I procrastinated because it was just too much. So I ended up the night before, so sorry parents, I printed off someone else's notes and just read it. And I think I'd made a table for my modern history and filled it out with all quotes and stuff and printed it. And God bless her, Lisa drove me into high school I think 2 of the days for my HSC because she worked around the area. So that's Aurelia's mum.
Yep.
And I was literally just reading out my notes and reciting stuff to her on the whole car trip. And that was a majority of my study. I didn't do many practice papers. I was just too overwhelmed. And I ended up getting a very good mark for what I put in. I mean, which is so ironic because I cared about it so much, but then my work didn't reflect that because it just I kind of shut off really. But don't do that.
No, I had a similar thing, is that I think I would be I have to do this really well. Yeah. But then I'd feel so overwhelmed by all the work that I felt that I had to do that I would procrastinate. But then it just creates this awful cycle of being I'm not doing it, so I need to do more, but I'm so anxious and overwhelmed by it, then I just won't do anything. And
it's awful.
It's really, you describing that, I went back to that time. I remember sitting in my room just feeling I hate this. Yeah. Would this ever end? That's the other thing.
Yeah, literally. And especially because I very much, I have weird relationship with like my intelligence and like academic stuff in general. It's not so much a problem now, but especially when I was younger, a lot of people would like think I'm very dumb, and I would get a lot of stuff about that. So like performing academically was such a thing, but then because
like to show them that
not really to show, more myself, honestly.
okay.
I didn't really care what other people, I mean, in publicly or like in conversations with people, but that's not really academics. That's sort of like being able to recount things. And I have, because of my dyslexia, I have trouble recalling things like names of things. So that obviously didn't help my case. So I had a lot of, mainly in face-to-face interactions, I worry about that more if someone's like sort of showing me that they think I'm an idiot. But academically, it's more of a me thing, because I think growing up with that, I kind of like, I had that self-doubt of my intelligence. So performing academically was like a big thing, because that's how you like, it's a quantifiable thing. It's like a number on a page.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you can see, am I actually this smart?
Like a metric, a measure of it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's still a thing now. Like if I go to do a test, like I'm always, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I know I'm smart, but it's like I have to be, it's a further emphasis on having to be smart because of that. But yeah.
How did, like at a stressful time, I think in the HSC I didn't rely on God enough. Do you think you did the same, or you were really just too distracted? Which that was my case. I was like just too focused on myself, really. So did you have a similar experience of, were you seeking God's wisdom and God's comfort in those times that were just so stressful?
Yeah, I was not. So that's probably the one big time in my life. It was never like I was actively going against, but it was especially during lockdown was probably the main thing, because we were moved a lot of church to online, and a lot of I would have still been in youth group. I didn't attend any of them, and I don't think there was any like particular reason, but I think especially probably with my tendency to isolate myself, being like physically isolated in your room and not talking to people, I just kind of like hermited myself and was particularly like that. So I think lockdown particularly was like that, where I definitely, I wasn't even attending church or youth group. So, and I probably wasn't even reading my Bible, because I was so out of the loop, and probably even praying less, which is crazy, because sometimes the moments where you need to pray the most, you pray the less. I definitely find in myself, because that thing that you're so worried about becomes such a thing, and you're just so stressed about it, which the way that you could, stepping away, you kind of have blinders. So stepping away from that and going to God would help so much, but you just get so hyper fixated on this thing, and it seems like the end of the world, when you can easily...
Only I can fix it.
It very much, when you have blinders on, you feel like you're the only one experiencing this, and heaps of people are. And you can reach out to God, and he's always there, but you just don't for some reason. So
because we're sinful. That's why.
Well, of course. So, I didn't attend church, and I definitely fell away from God during that period of time. And then when stuff started to open up, I started going to church again. But, I started to get back on track, but it was still, like, the HSC was just such a big thing. So I think my attention, like, I didn't seek God for the support in that like I should have. So I was still sort of tainted. So I wouldn't say that my relationship was like fully separated from God. I was still, I started praying again, but I wasn't fully, it wasn't my main priority when it definitely should have been.
And it's like, sad. And I know that you're looking back in hindsight, and you're just like, why did I do that?
Oh, you want to shake yourself.
Yeah, because you're like,
it would have given me in front of your eyes, like, listen.
It would have given me way more perspective about what I was doing, which in the sense would help with. I'm reflecting on myself, but you probably identify with this too. But it would give me way more perspective, which would reduce the anxiety, which would mean I'd probably work better on what I was working on anyway. But like, you don't do that thing. You'd like, no, I got to do this. I have to do it all myself, and I have to fix it. I'll go back and punch myself in the face. Really, that's the thing. Yeah,
but I am thankful for at least being able to have the hindsight, being able to look back for it, because I'm able to recognize that, especially for next year, because I'm doing placement, so I won't be able to go to church as much. especially because I don't go to youth group anymore, but I go to Bible study. So even this semester with uni, I was up there 4 days a week. So I was staying with the Crawshaws up in Thirroul
Cool.
during the week. So I wasn't able to go to my Bible study because, I was so tired driving back. I like almost veered off the road so many times, like driving back from Wollongong that would have been like 8 times I was driving per week. So I started to stay up there, which helped me with like preventing burnout and a lot of other things. But it did, and obviously they're a Christian family. I was able to talk to them, and I was thankful that I wasn't fully isolated from God. I still had that, and I still had Saturdays. I was coming to Saturday, and I've been up to Sunday a couple times with my parents because they go to that one. But I wasn't able to have Bible study, and that's like such a great time to talk to people, and it's like a specialized time to hang out with your friends, but to talk with the God and your talk with the God.
Talk with the God.
Talk with God, and there's a lot of intentionality behind it. Going into next year, I'm with the hindsight that I have from COVID and my HSC years, I'm trying to think of ways that I can bring that and make sure that I don't, because I'll be away for 5 weeks at a time, so I will even miss those Saturdays. I'm trying to think of ways that I can prevent that from happening. And
What's the course that you're doing?
So nutrition and dietetics.
Yep. My sister did the same thing.
Oh, really?
At Wollongong?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my sister was at Sydney, but anyway.
Yeah, they're like the big two.
Yeah. Are you enjoying it? And did you plan to do that when you finished school?
Yes and no. No. I want to say no. So I wanted, when I was younger, maybe like 14, people would say, what do you want to do? And I would say, I want to be a nutritionist, not knowing what it was. Like I danced. I never grew up cooking food, so I didn't really know why, but I just said, nutritionist sounds fun. Don't even know where I found out about it, because it wasn't even a really big thing back then. But I would just answer with that. And then when I got older, I kind of went back and forth between different things. I wanted to do different health stuff, and I considered medicine for a while. And I think even I got offers for neuroscience and nursing. So I ended up deciding to go the health route, because I was just thinking maybe modern history, politics, philosophy. So I ended up going the health route. And then I was like, do I want to do medicine? I didn't get the ATAR to do medicine. So I was like, still didn't really know. So I was like, if I'm going to do something, I don't want to go into medical health sciences, because that's not a career path. So I figured I want to do something that I can have a career path with, that I'd be happy. And if I wanted to do medicine later on the track, I could. And I was just so lucky. I ended up loving it. So, which is a fluke. I mean, a lot of people change degrees the first sort of year, but I ended up loving it, and I'm so passionate about it now, which is so lucky. Good. But I kind of did, but kind of didn't. It was always in the back of my mind, but I definitely wasn't. I didn't really know what they did, really. I mean, so even kind of when I got into the degree, I did, but I didn't really know. So it just ended up working out for me.
You say you're in your second year?
No, sorry, I'm going into my 4th year.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so that's why I'm doing all my placements. So that's my last year.
Yep.
So it's like a half research and placement year. So I do 5 weeks of placement, 5 weeks of research, and that goes intertwined throughout the whole year.
Wow, okay. Yep.
And I have to travel for most of them. I only have one placement in Sydney. So which is really good for career and experience, and I have to do rural placements and stuff. But you're away from the church community, which is, I mean, being away from my family, I mean, who cares but the church?
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that, because we've talked a lot on this episode of how there's times where you felt like you weren't as part of the community as much as you perhaps wanted to be, or looking back on it, you wanted to be. Yeah. So I think that's cool that you're like, oh no, now it's really, really important. I want to be part of it all the time.
I don't think it would have been back. Yeah. I don't think I would have thought about it the same way. I don't think it would have been as much of an impact, but definitely now, and I feel like I'm just getting started. I don't want to, and obviously it's hard when you're away from everyone, it's so hard. I mean, people have their own lives. So and I'll obviously be doing my own thing during that time. But I'm definitely now, I'm this is my priority. I want to try and figure out ways that I can sort of make do while I'm there, to make sure that I'm still sort of getting that, or a supplement of that.
We have an experience of like what you like works and doesn't work to a degree
well,
now
yeah,
too.
exactly. Yeah.
No, that's really cool. Let me ask you. We're kind of up to the present now.
Yes.
So we've looked back across a lot of big part of your life and how much we talked about dancing and school and stuff like that, and just the differences in how worthwhile it is spending time at church.
Yeah.
And being part of the community. So let's ask the final question. What do you know now as a Christian that you wish your younger Christian self knew?
Yeah. Well, I had my answer before the podcast, so it's not related to what we've been talking about, but it's the community. Right. I think
it's related to what we were talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, it just happens to be that. So I think especially with the camps and stuff like that, which I didn't participate in, I wish I participated in that stuff. I wish I went around and talked to people.
What do you think is the thing that you miss the most, but not doing those things?
I think valuable friendships that I was able to connect to Jesus, because all my friends really weren't, apart from one, weren't Christian. So I think I missed that aspect. I think I missed a lot of experiences just going to church, because I think it was a lot easier for me to miss church because I was only missing one person. Like I wasn't missing a whole group of people. I wasn't missing, like that wasn't, I guess it made it easier to not be as big of an aspect of my life. So it was easier to go off and do my own thing.
Yeah.
So I think I definitely miss stuff because of that. I think I also just miss talking to different people about their different experience. Like I just think there's so much I could have learned. I would have been less in my bubble and less thinking that I was the only one that living on this earth, which I'm not. So I think I just miss that. I mean, that's a lot of things, but I think I just missed a lot of things that could have developed me as a Christian earlier on. So I get that now, and I'm still developing that now, but I didn't get that as much when I was younger because I missed out on those things.
Well, you said it's a lot of things, but also community is a lot of things.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And it's almost like you had quite different experience going to school.
Yeah.
But it sounds like within a Christian environment, you wanted to have that from other people, so you could. I mean, it's interesting that you talked about how when people would ask you questions, that would solidify your faith, but it's almost like you wanted that in the Christian environment as well, that people would be able, you'd be able to talk about those things with those people rather than just being a bit more on your own and having to kind of challenge yourself and think about it yourself. Yeah,
I think being able to ask people my own questions and then being able to answer them and
talk about it with them.
Yeah, I think being that person that I was responding to other people would have been really beneficial to myself. And it's always cool like hearing other people's testimony and how they came to Jesus and what they believe and why they believe it. And I think that also would have been just as beneficial for me solidifying my faith or coming to it or further developing it or choosing it as my own and not just being because I grew up with it. So
I mean I wonder how much of you growing up in a Christian family influenced that too, because we always talk with people that have grown up in a Christian family and they say we take on the faith ourselves. Yeah. And maybe an influence on that in some people is being more in a Christian environment to help you understand and like, oh no, this is mine, and then I'm going out in the world. Whereas it's almost like you're out in the world and then maybe not spending as much time as you could have to do that. Yeah, I think both of them, like I really value my time out of the world. I don't think I would have... you said that. I don't think I would have chose it or like... that was just like a big part of my decision. Yeah. So... I really value it. And even like thinking about like my children, I'm like, would I want to send them to Christian school? Would I not? I don't know. Like it's always a gamble because just because I had that experience, which was so good for me personally, but you can never tell like who's someone else in that environment, you know, you never know. Yeah, it's something to keep thinking about. Just makes me think now. But why don't we wrap up the episode? Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on. That's okay. Thank you for having me. That's all right. I feel so honoured. I mean, I was the fourth in the list from my family. So. Well, we tried to get you on before Hudson and Daniel, I think. Or I think we were also. But you might have been busy anyway. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But this has been episode 110. Yeah. Very special. Very, very special. New lucky number. Is it? No, my lucky number is 7. Oh. Yeah. Well, my birthday's on the 14th. 7's a holy number. Yes.
Yeah. So
Is that it? Is that the only two reasons?
Yeah.
You're the
I mean,
14?
but do people really have many reasons why something's their lucky number? You know?
I don't know.
It's like your favourite colour. Like, oh, it's cute. I don't know.
What's your favourite colour?
Oh, light blue. I love light blue.
Not just blue, you have to make it light blue.
Yeah, well, I'm very pale, so I feel like light blue clothes look really good on me.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and I've got like light blue eyes. So I used to love pink, but pink just doesn't do well with my skin. And I think I just started wearing light blue because it looked better on me. And then I was like, I really like this colour.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favourite colour is orange, if you're wondering.
Oh, yep. I do like orange, but I can't wear it. Although I have done a photo shoot. Oh yeah, being a dancer, I did photo shoots. Anyway, I have done a photo shoot where I was wearing an orange number. It was like a massive dress, and I was posing with these orange flowers in one of the gardens somewhere.
One of the gardens.
Yeah,
somewhere.
but it's my favourite photo of me wearing orange. But I was wearing a spray tan, so that's the only reason. I was orange myself, and that's why I could wear the orange, but I couldn't wear it now.
All right, it's been lovely to have you on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. If you are listening, we're going to take a little break over the just the Christmas period, but we'll have plenty more Chip Lunch guests to come on. This has been episode 110 with Ashley.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And we always finish with one way.
Oh, one way.
One way.
I was going to say thank you for having me, but one way.
That was great.